What sort of battle have you got against us?
Isaac wouldn't be there without them.
There is a possibility United could pull something off.
Do you not think there's a problem with Bruno Fernandes?
We've got one fan of every single Premier League club here, and today we're going to be debating the hottest topics. The way this works is simple. Our debater will bring a topic to the table that they want to discuss. The rest of the fans will run to the opposite chair, and the first one there will debate the topic. Each debate has 10 minutes set, and once the time's up, I will blow the whistle, no matter where we are. The rest of the fans all have a yellow card, and if they think the person who is debating against that topic should be stopped, they can raise it. Once the majority have their yellow card in the air, I'll show them a red and send them off. We'll then have another race for the chair and repeat until the time's up. Lewis Bowden, proud Newcastle fan. Yes. Say your take.
I believe Newcastle United should be able to spend all the money they have.
3, 2, 1.
What sort of battle have you got against us? West Ham?
Okay. Why do you think Newcastle shouldn't be able to spend their money?
So it's not even from like a West Ham perspective. It's from a wider football perspective. Football is constantly getting more expensive, and that's because players are earning more money and like the season tickets are going up. Because of it, transfer fees are going up as well. And it used to be the working class game. I know how much I pay for the season ticket, and so do a load of the guys here. If Newcastle can spend their money, it just means that richer owners are going to come in to compete with Newcastle by other clubs around us. And then all of that is just going to increase the price of the tickets for everybody. And it's just going to become unaffordable for everybody who loves the game. So we started off with like millionaires coming into owning football clubs. Now it's billionaires, eventually being like multi-billionaires. And it's not going to be sustainable.
Yeah, but do you not think that the cat's already out of the bottle there? Because essentially what you're saying is the people who already have been overtaken have been spent. That's the saying.
Cat's out the bag.
Guys, I heard that from Theo Baker himself. I promise you that's the saying. Because essentially what that would mean is the people who have already and are capable to spend money, they're just going to then separate themselves even more, and there's never hope for... Luckily, we're in a position now that we should be able to spend, but there's never hope for you to ever catch them. There's never hope for an Everton to get a big takeover, and it just means that they're forever going to go on and get the big players and steal it from us, because that's what we've done with Declan Rice, with us for Isak. We promised Isak a big contract in January at the end of the season. Paul Mitchell sort of came in and said, that's not happening, we can't afford it. Liverpool can offer him big wages. If we could lock him down to 300k a week, we would have kept Isak. So for me, it's not financial fair play. It's just financial play, because there's nothing fair about it.
I completely agree that like FFP and PSR and whatever the acronym is now is not fit for purpose, right? But I think you're only saying this because it's your club that's being impacted.
Too right, yeah?
No, but like City came in and they had a load of money and they just spent a load of money. And Chelsea did the same thing under Abramovich, right? Mm-hmm. Pre them, if this rule was being put in, they would fight that they should be able to spend their money. And they were allowed to. Now, because if they couldn't, then it would be United still at the top and Arsenal probably still at the top and Liverpool, who've been a bit less like free spending, but they've always been kind of there or thereabouts.
But who's to say that we can't spend the money? Why? If we do have extremely rich owners, are we not allowed to spend? But then Liverpool and Man United can spend. If we have the same amount of money as them, why is it just down to the technicality that on a year-on-year thing that they can bring in more money, so therefore they're allowed to spend it? That's ridiculous, because it sets the standard that Newcastle United, all the clubs here, then have to become as big commercially as Man United to be allowed to compete with them. That's never going to happen. Man United are the biggest club in the world. So essentially, it's no one else's right to tell us what we can and can't spend. As long as the money's there, we can spend it.
But they're spending it because they make it.
But why can't we spend it? But what reason? Why is it there? Because in our time, there's very rarely a club that I feel like that's went out of business. It's awful when it does. I think the closest we can think of is at Leeds, where it was like, but we lived the dream. And obviously it's terrible, but realistically, people aren't going to run the club into the ground financially. So if you have the money, you should be able to spend it, and overall it's better for the league.
It's better for the club, but not for the league, and like I said, not for the fans.
Do you not think it's better for the league to compete with Man City and the Liverpools?
No, because you say that West Ham can never get to that level. If you guys climb up, then we can never. No, not unless a billionaire buys us.
No. If you get rid of FFP, because Aston Villa, I'm not sure how rich they are, but they have huge FFP issues. Nottingham Forest have huge FFP issues where they've just sold us Elanga. It's not just from the top clubs down. It's for those Aston Villas, the Forests, who they've having to sell their players now.
And you had to too with like Mintel, with Anderson.
Yeah.
I agree that selling the players, like I said, PSR not fit for purpose. But unless every club gets an owner that has 100 billion in the bank, no one's going to be competing. The level's just going to keep climbing.
No, it depending on how rich you're.
Aaron, I'm sorry, mate. The fans have voted. We'll be counting again to for 3 seconds to change the person here. So get ready, guys. 3, 2, 1.
I'm not a Palace fan. What the fuck's going on?
Okay,
Damn,
I love it.
He knows way more about football than me.
The first thing I want to contest is this whole like how are we meant to compete with PSR. I would say right now the Premier League is probably more competitive than it's ever been. Like last season, Newcastle finished in the Champions League spots. Forest finished 7th. Villa finished 6th. I think we're showing that just pumping loads of money into a club is not necessarily the route to success. Liverpool bought no one last summer, and they still finished top of the league.
But Liverpool have had success throughout the year. So this is a stat that annoys me a little bit when it comes to these big teams where it's like, well, look, our net spend's only this and yours is way more. Yes, because you have an inbuilt of high-quality players who you can sell for up to hundreds of millions of pounds. So therefore, your net spend looks good. And overall, clubs are going to find a way to spend money. Chelsea even have been doing all sorts of whatever stuff they've been doing business-wise. Money can be spent either way. People are selling the women's teams. Like, this isn't stuff that should be happening to try and get a transfer over. So FFP is actually damaging football even more now because people are like, well, we'll just get around it illegally then, will we? Or we'll do this dodgy thing to sell. So money's going to be spent. This whole rule, like, it was never really an issue, I feel like. It's like, it's an issue to a certain extent where I'm not saying Newcastle should be able to spend and get Mbappe and spend £1 million on wages a week, but at the moment, it is so anti-competitive.
But also, like, the Saudis have been in charge of Newcastle for, 4 or 5 years? And Newcastle have grown a lot in that time. Like, realistically, of the team now, Isak wouldn't be there without them. Bruno G wouldn't be there without them. Tonali wouldn't be there without them. It's about sustainable growth. Like, if in 10, 15 years, they're still in charge and they're building to that point, it's very conceivable Newcastle could be at that level. But it's just if Saudi pumped all this money in and tomorrow went, yeah, actually, I don't want to be at Newcastle anymore. And then the whole club will just collapse.
I'm not saying we have to completely get rid of it and that thing, but there's not who is deciding that's saying you can only spend this much because until we can check you out. That's not none of anyone's business. We have new owners. They have a lot of money. If they want to be ambitious and say we want to try and challenge for the league in 5 years, they should be able to go out and sign everyone they want instead of us being forced to sell Isak and being timid in the transfer market, missing out on major targets. Like, we were supposed to sign João Pedro seasons ago. There's so many targets that are... So I don't understand who has the right to tell us no, because the way we've spent, we have invested more, but you're comparing it to a Mike Ashley era where there was no money going back in. We've spent probably the same as like a Forest or a Villa who are far below our owners' like wealth. So we're not actually growing at the speed we can. We're being held back. And by the way, and that benefits all these teams here because they're spending more than ever.
Yeah, but they're also, a lot of them are also selling. Like if you look at Liverpool, they're a good example of someone who now they've spent well over years, but they bought players because they sold players. Like, there's nothing... I don't think, if we're going to go down like the specific ins and outs of players, I don't think selling Isak for 140 million is bad at all for Newcastle, because you can then... He's a good example of a player who you bought for a lot of money, which you wouldn't have had otherwise, and then sold him for like 80 million pound profit.
Choice, though. It's the lack of choice. It's not our choice. It's them deciding why. And we mentioned Liverpool. Obviously, we can go into they've had high quality, so they can sell, and their net spend's gonna be great, whatever. Chelsea, a completely different thing. They've been taken over by billionaires, but they've done it and spent ridiculous amounts over what they can. But because we're actually doing it legally, and we were very targeted when we had our takeover, we're sort of brushing under what Chelsea's doing. So again, certain teams are allowed to get around it, it seems, and other teams aren't.
Also, I think in every sport, there's always going to be a food chain, regardless of finances. Like, again, as a basketball fan, that is in theory a fair sport. But like the Lakers and the Celtics will always have more of an attractive proposition for players just because who they are, where they are. That will always happen. That will always net out.
In basketball, they have a completely different system where the worst teams have first pick in the draft, and it's fair.
Okay. Have to show you the red card, my friend Ollie. Oh, that's fine. You're off. You're off. 1:30 left. 3, 2, 1, go. Shit. Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Right, I'm going to get this as quick as possible because depending on your answers, I'm happy to step away and let Rory take the rest. I've got a couple of questions just to clarify your actual stance. Do you think Newcastle should be allowed to spend what they want, or do you think everybody should be allowed to spend what they want?
Everyone should be able to spend what they can. They can.
Right, so Man City, for example, if these charges come to light, do you think Man City should be punished?
Yes, because they've done it under the ruling. I say those rulings shouldn't exist. If those rulings didn't exist, then they wouldn't be charged.
Yep. So because the rules do exist, do you not think it's hypocritical to want them punished and then you think that Yorkshire could be allowed to spend what they want?
Because we haven't broke the rules. We haven't broke the rules.
No, but the matter of fact is the rules exist, and you can't. If you disagree with the rules,
but we haven't broke it. The difference is Man City. The rules exist. They broke
Yeah.
it. The rules exist. We are choosing not to break it.
Yeah.
I'm saying those rules shouldn't be there, so we can do what they did, but legally.
So let's say hypothetically they get punished. Rules are done. Gets abolished. You can spend what you want. What's stopping someone taking over Man United again? Should they then be allowed to spend hundreds and hundreds of millions, billions, and then get above you?
They already are, but yes, I feel like there's nothing stopping this. People are spending regardless. Chelsea are spending regardless. What we're doing now is actually damaging football. We're talking about this instead of football. There's women's teams getting sold. There's dodgy, like Chelsea spending billions. They don't even have a shirt sponsor. You have Forest who got in Europe for the first time, selling the best players.
Full time. Well done, guys. Well done. Let us know in the comments below what you think. Are you subscribed to the channel? Well, if you're not, what are you doing? Please head down, smash that subscribe channel. It means a lot to me, and it also shows me that you're enjoying this kind of video. Like the video whilst you're down there as well. Make sure you're leaving some comments on what you think on all these debates. Without further ado, let's carry on with the next one. Our next contender, Alice Talks Football, talking about Manchester United. What's your statement?
I think Man United are actually dark horses next season.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Right to the back.
We are indeed.
No.
We are indeed.
Go ahead, my friend.
We'll be better this time. Okay. Where is your evidence to suggest you'll be up there, let alone the top half?
First of all, like, what I mean by dark horses is we know who the top four is. That is nailed on. But, like, everyone's like, yeah, Man United are going to come, like, 12th, 13th, 11th. And look, prediction right now is 8th because we've only had 2 signings in the door. But, like, people are like, 8th, that's so high for Man United. But there is a possibility United could pull something off and get 5th, which is what I call a good season considering 15th to 5th. Because we're not in Europe next season, and you've got, the competition is going to be Aston Villa, Newcastle, who are much better than us right now, but they're in Europe. They haven't, the depth could be improved in certain areas there. They both haven't really signed anyone yet. Obviously, they haven't lost Isaac, and Villa have held on to their players, but you don't know what's going to happen there with their windows. That is the competition. Bournemouth is competition. They're losing people. Brighton, obviously, yeah, you're not in Europe, and you are a little bit of competition, but again, João Pedro will be a loss for Brighton. I think you do have a young squad with a lot of good players, but it's a young manager as well. I do think, like, potentially with Manchester United, there's still the need for a striker. We're not convinced with Højlund. There's questions over midfield. There's still the need for a better goalkeeper. But, like, last season, like, we weren't good, and we were 15th for a reason. But a lot of the games that we were 15th in, we actually were okay, but we couldn't score. Like, even when we lost 1-0 to Chelsea right at the end of the season, we weren't, like, awful. We just couldn't score. And I think that's an issue we have with Mbeumo and Cunha coming in. I think they've got 48 goal contributions between the two last season in the league. That's more goals than Man United got the whole of last season with 2 players combined.
I'm sorry, fella. I'm sorry. I think they wanted an intervene. We're going to as well. 3, 2, 1. Jacob, welcome.
I know you said there you made some really good signings, and Mbeumo and Cunha in individual players are great, but some of United's best players this season, Amad Diallo, Bruno Fernandes, you're moving Amad Diallo away from his best zones, which have been in the final third, and I think, yes, United, again, as always, signed some good players. Do they sign the right players, though? Do you need Mbeumo? Does he need to come in when you've got Amad Diallo and you're going to completely cut off his progression in terms of being an attacking player? He's going to be playing wing-back next season.
He was quite good at wing-back. So in the Southampton game where we were actually getting just really crap and then we ended up winning 3-1, Amad Diallo went and got his hat-trick because he was moved to a wing-back, and that's when he got the licence to do what he did. With City, the 2-1 comeback,
But is that Amad Diallo's best position? And would he not have been better getting an elite wing-back to come in and facilitate Amad Diallo being better in the final third, which he was? I think when he was fit, probably one of United's best players.
It depends on the game we're playing. Like, I think in some games when he's not really getting the ball, when he's high up because we struggle with ball progression, when he's at wing back, he can progress the ball. And again, versus City in the comeback when we won 2-1, the 3-1 versus Southampton, that was his best bits. But also, Delo, he can always play wing back. He's a solid player. Like, he's nothing special.
But Diogo Delo playing at wing back, where you could have got, and let's say, for example, Diogo Delo playing at wing back with Amad Diallo playing further forward, do you think that's better than Mbeumo being thrown in and Amad Diallo being pushed back to wing back? Or you could have just gone and got yourself a top class wing back, facilitate Amad Diallo. Yes, the money on Mbeumo, and I'm not saying Mbeumo's going to be awful. I think he'll be a good signing. But again, could the money not have been spent better? Or you could have got Bruno Fernandes, a proper partner in midfield, which, Manuel Ugarte is nowhere near the level.
A lot of people forget that Rashford's going, Anthony's going, Sancho's going. We need that attacking reinforcement for depth. And Mbeumo can play in the middle. He can play as the 10. He could even play wing-back. He has played there for Brentford once or twice. Not saying I'd play him there.
That's a lot of money, though, to push Amad Diallo back when you could have just kept Amad Diallo there, gone and spent money on positions where you don't have someone of quality.
Amorim plays a winger at wing-back for Sporting. It's something that he quite likes to do.
That was an awful whistle. Jesus Christ. Jake and my friend, thank you. Okay, we've still got around 5 minutes left for this take of our Manchester United dark horses. 3, 2, 1.
Get out of the way.
Wow, okay. I will move people around afterwards as well, so everyone gets a fair chance. He does have a weapon. Lewis, my friend.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Okay, so there's a lot of talk about Man United and your transfer business. I'd still just don't see how that's relevant to you being dark horses. You've spent every season from what I can remember, and you've been dog shit for season on season. And if anything, the money spent has been worse. I feel like we're in a time of football now where you can't buy league positions as much as you could in the past. You're looking to compete with teams like Aston Villa, who have an elite manager who's proven and has had seasons after seasons to build up a philosophy at the club. And have you seen anything from Amorim to suggest that the philosophy is even being developed, never mind to a position where it can now take over teams like Aston Villa, Newcastle, Brighton?
It's more the case of with Amorim, again, I'm not his biggest backer, but we've seen what he did at Sporting when he got backed. I think that there has been improvements to United in terms of rest defence. Defensively, we've been a lot better since Amorim's come in. The question has been goals. We sort of addressed that in the transfer window. But my question is, I'm not the biggest fans of Ineos, but I think the signings we made last summer are better compared to what we did under Murta and Arnold. We spent so much money on Mount, Højlund and Onana. That was before Ineos came in. Anthony was before Ineos came in. The biggest question mark signing we got from last summer was Ugarte at 50 million, who brings much needed legs, but he wasn't a 50 million player.
But the thing is, are these transfers enough to gain? Because that's what you're doing. You're behind, massively behind. Ridiculously, to see Man United in the position where you were last season was absolutely horrendous. And in my opinion, it's exactly where you belonged, given your performances. So I haven't seen any business at all to suggest that you're gaining. You might be improving your team, but you aren't gaining by any means. I don't think your manager's good enough. I think your team has an attitude problem. I think you're going to crumble as soon as you get into this new season and the results aren't going your own way, because the fan base is becoming toxic now. Because for your own right, you are used to success, but that's not what you're getting now.
I'm sorry, Les. Sorry. But here you go, my friends. 3.5 minutes left. 3, 2, 1. Wow, that was pacey from Henry there. Well done. Well battled. Henry, go ahead, my friend.
Do you not think there's a problem with Bruno Fernandes there? Does he not he's your best player, but is he not causing a problem with the system? He's not playing far enough forward.
I'm so sorry. It's the rules of the game, my friend. I really, really do apologise. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Next one, I'm gonna move her around. I promise. Come on then.
I want to talk about adaptability, and after having a manager who did not have a plan B, C, D, F, whatever, I'm seeing this now with Amorim. I feel like a back three in the Premier League is now becoming an out of favour formation. It's good to use, every so often because
I'm so sorry, Sales. You got to jump.
We're going to play. I didn't get to finish my argument.
You're going to play back three this season. Then you'd have to do your argument.
I know. It's easy.
3, 2, 1. Okay, Jack.
Hello.
Go ahead, my friend.
Okay, first of all, I want to say what a brilliant time this is that a dark horse Manchester United is finishing 8th. Absolutely fantastic as a Leeds fan and the rest of the Premier League. Ruben Amorim is absolutely robbing a living in being a Manchester United manager. That man is shocking. A 30 million release clause, I won't pay 30 quid. I said it earlier. The transfers you've made, I don't think are bad, and Mbeumo's a good signing. But the fact that you've got Amorim still in charge is what is going to let you down. He's going to blow the whistle.
I'm sorry.
Let me talk about how bad.
5 yellow cards. 5 yellow cards and it's off. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I've not even brought the red cards.
This is easy for me.
Gone. It's tough out here.
Okay.
A minute and 20 seconds left. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, he's jumped the gun there.
Fine by me. Absolutely fine. Jump in, my friend.
So you came 15th last year. And where do you think you're going to come this year?
I just think everyone thinks we're going to come like 12th, 13th. So I think if we could get 7th or 6th, that's just
7th or
exceeding
6th, so-
expectations.
So you're still your dark horses. You're still going to be a mid-table team.
But we're going to be pushed Europa League.
You think you'll get Europa League?
Everyone thinks we're going to come like 12th, Europa
so
League.
Out of the top 5, what teams are going to, or top, say 7, what teams are you going to beat?
Like, this is the thing. So right now, I think Bournemouth will drop off, Brentford will drop off.
That's not the top 7. You've got City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal. You think you're going to beat all of those teams?
No, obviously not. We're not going to beat the top. We know who the top 4 is. We know who the top 4 is. That is nailed on. Yeah, we're talking about, like, for me, Newcastle and Villa are a level ahead of Manchester United. I know that. I'm aware of that. But they haven't done enough business yet. They're going to be, depth is going to be an issue, particularly for maybe Newcastle, because if Joelinton gets injured, that midfield 3 is so good. But as soon as Joelinton gets injured and Willock comes in, there's a drop-off there. If they get injuries like last time in the Champions League, they could drop off. Villa could potentially drop off if they don't do the business they need to do. Manchester United, 1 game a week, Cunha and Mbeumo, really good, proven Premier League players, which is something we haven't done since the Fergie days.
Do you actually think Mbeumo will perform at United?
Yeah.
Full time. Thank you. Well debate, everyone. Alice, well done. Round of applause. Dylan has taken the hot seat, but why have you done it, my friend?
Because I think that Sunderland are by far the best equipped of the promoted clubs to stay up, and we will stay up this season.
Okay, Sunderland to stay up. 3, 2, 1. Dun, dun, dun. Jacob, get ready for the run.
I don't know if there's any point.
Okay, go ahead, Jack.
First of all, I think that Leeds are, without question, the best well-equipped in terms of money, in terms of stature, in terms of stadium, in terms of fan base. I think we are well ahead of Sunderland at this current moment. I think the transfer you've done have been good. But I've got so many question marks. You've got AFCON coming up, and you've got a lot of African players. Granit Xhaka, listen, is a here we go today. We've seen it. Everybody in this room is impressed with that signing. I'm impressed with it too. But he's getting on a bit. He'll bring a bit of leadership to your team. Is he going to be a man that's going to keep you in the Premier League? I don't think so. If you look at the players that we've signed Land of the Giants to equip to the Premier League. We're matching the physicality that the Premier League is going to bring to us, and we are going all in on that. We've signed Sean Longstaff for 12 million quid. What? I know you're going to disagree with that. My man Lewis there is applauding me already. What a signing he is. We're linked with Igor Paxau, who's going to be a here we go very soon. We've been very savvy, very clever. We've signed Jakob Biol from Udinese, who was one of the best centre-halves in the Serie A last season. He was also one of the best centre-halves at Euros not too long ago. Everyone was ranting and raving about him just because he's gone to Leeds United. Don't let that cloud over your vision that he's not as good as everybody thought he was. Our only question mark with us is Daniel Farke. I believe that we're in a position now where if Farke doesn't hit the ground running and he doesn't start as well as he should do, that Leeds will get rid of him. We need to stay in the Premier League. We are a Premier League club. We have to be there. I think that Leeds will get rid of him if we don't hit the ground running. And I genuinely believe that out of the 3 teams that have come up, we are 100% going to stay in the Premier League.
Okay, and if you do get rid of him, which if you get off to a bad start is likely, do you not think that if you don't get that follow-up appointment absolutely spot on, that could be really detrimental to a season? This is coming from a fan of a team who used to sack the manager every single season and always just about get it right. If you don't get that follow-up appointment right, it could derail the entire season.
But isn't that the same for everyone? What if you get rid of Labrie and then
absolutely.
Apologies, but I didn't want to. I have to blow it really loud. Jack, you are off, my friend.
Probs.
Yellow card as well.
Oh yeah, thank
no worries.
I'm glad I didn't have to argue with him much. That.
I felt like he should say his piece.
I was going to say, yeah, no. Yeah. That was going to be a tough one, that.
3, 2, 1. Go on, Rory, mate.
How many points do you think you'll be above the drop zone in the end of December, start of January?
See, this is the thing, because early in the season, compared to the other teams around us, we've got sort of a more favourable set of fixtures. I'm under no illusion that in this AFCON period, come December, we've got some really tough fixtures. And I think that, to be honest, I know we're going to be losing the players to AFCON. Even with that full squad, we would still struggle. We've obviously got them lot, which is the only... Honestly, if we beat them, we could lose the rest for all I care, because they are some tough games. I'm pretty sure... I think we play... It's either Liverpool or City we play twice. And what I think they've done, it's risky. I think they've tried to box clever. I think a lot of teams will have refrained interest on African players because they know they're going to miss them for part of the season.
So my starting point is, if you're not well ahead of the curve by that point. You're losing or more players than anyone else is going to lose. And I'm not looking at the other two. By the way, Leeds are going down, Burnley are going down. You're all going down. The problem you've got is every other Premier League team they are going into at least their 4th consecutive Premier League season. If it gets to January and they're in any danger of going down, they will spend. You're spending all of the money that you will be able to spend this summer, and if that hasn't worked by December, which even you yourself don't fully believe that it will have done, then you're going to be in a position where, in terms of being well above that drop zone, you're going to be in a position where all the teams around you are going to strengthen on already existing Premier League sides, and you're going to lose half your team.
No, absolutely, and I'm not disputing that to an extent, but early in the season, as I said before, I think there's an opportunity to pick up more points than the teams around us. So I think our opening month is something along the lines of West Ham, Burnley, Brentford. Obviously, there's uncertainty around West Ham, Brentford. Burnley, we've all agreed are probably finishing rock bottom. There's no reason why we don't start off 6, maybe even 9 points from that first month. Then you get at the end of September, you picked up a few more. You're already at more than Southampton had last season.
You're meeting existing Premier League sides that have kept the majority of their Premier League squad with a completely new put-together team. Most of them have never played in the Premier League before. A lot of them have never played with each other, and you're expecting to beat them. All 3 of them take 6-9 points. I disagree with that. I think
not too well.
First start to the season, you'll struggle. Every promoted team does. Then you're going to hit probably the hardest point of any of the promoted teams, and the Premier League teams around you are going to improve if they need to.
But this is under the assumption that all these teams, because don't get me wrong, I understand it is a fight to steal, but there is a lot of teams who are in less favourable positions now than they were towards the back end of last season, and that argument only works on the premise that none of them drop off, and I think they will. I think Brentford will drop off, especially losing Mbeumo. I know they've been linked with the likes of Amari Hutchinson, good players, but he didn't give Ipswich much of a fighting chance to stay up last season.
That's the point. Ipswich is case in point.
Yeah,
they improved more than anyone else did last summer.
A lot of people like to use this and sort of try and knock us over the head with it. There is a distinct difference between the recruitment we've done and the recruitment Leeds are doing and the recruitment Ipswich done. They signed a super team of the Championship's best players. You bring 1 or 2 of them into a Premier League side, yes, they make the step up. Do they do it as a collective? Absolutely, they do not.
At least a lot of them have played in England.
Rory,
it was nice.
Well done, mate.
Pleasure.
Early bath. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
Do you think Burnley are going to stay up?
Well, no.
Oh, I shouldn't be involved. Sorry, that's not the point, and that's not the question.
But Burnley obviously not staying up, and I hear your recruitment great. You've done well. You've improved a lot. For me, it's a mentality issue. I know last season you rotated towards the end of the season, but that run you went on before the playoffs was diabolical. Now I know you're going to say, well, we knew we weren't getting autos, all that stuff, but when you know, let's say you've been through a bad run in the Premier League and you're really under it, you're really under the cosh, is there nothing to say that mentality won't come back through and you give up knowing that you're defeated? Because you completely stopped and you were awful that back in that season. Once you have been defeated a bit.
We absolutely did not give up. Regis Labrie categorically stated, no, he did. He came out and he said, the playoffs is the only thing that matters, and I have faith in my players to turn it back on when the time comes. And did they do that?
Yeah, but
absolutely.
You might have, but the players that you were still playing, they were still awful. They weren't just sat there going, oh yeah, we'll just let them win.
No, absolutely.
And they were still diabolical. And it looked like they dropped heads. The heads looked like they dropped.
Yeah, the likes of Harrison Jones are not going to be starting games in the Premier League.
But he didn't play all them games though.
He played a lot of them. He featured in a lot of them.
He played like 3 or 4. He didn't play in
all. That
7-game run.
In a rough 5 to 6 game.
He wasn't starting every game though. That's what I mean. All I'm saying is, I think in terms of mentality-wise, I think Leeds have got that mentality. You know, they went through and won the championship. Obviously, that means nothing, winning the championship.
Precisely.
But I do think there's an idea that maybe Sunderland's heads could drop. If you know when you go for that run, when you've got Newcastle, City, Liverpool, you get beat 4-5-0 in them, which is a very likely case scenario. I just feel like there might be a worry there that Sunderland don't have the mentality in the players to turn it back on and get back going and really go for their games after that.
See, for me, and of course I'm going to think this because I'm a Sunderland fan, but I think those concerns get completely thrown out the window when you see how much they pulled it back and performed in the playoffs. We should probably not have even got past Coventry if you do the balance of play. Did we keep them out at the very final third? We did really well to defend. We had to dig deep, which you don't see us do. In recent times, we've always played our better football against the better sides because it's more of a toe-to-toe. You very rarely see us pin back, and that was there showed to me that we can be pinned back and we can absorb the pressure and we can get at him. Basically, I think that we will benefit from playing better football in sides. There'll be nobody sitting back trying to stop Sunderland from getting the ball in the net. And that's where we struggle. We struggle against teams with a low block and we're not going to play any of them this season.
That's different to what I'm saying though. That's the mentality in the mid-game. I'm saying in a run of games where Sunderland are shipping 4 or 5 goals, which again, it happens to pretty much every promoted team, not even every promoted team, every team in the bottom half. I'm saying, do Sunderland have that mentality to switch it back on, turn it over mid-season without a break? You did have a break before the playoffs hit you. mid-season, before a break, when you're under loads of games, can you turn it back on and go away to Brighton, go and beat a Brighton team after just losing 6-0 to Liverpool?
Absolutely. I think the likes of Trey Humer already at the club are well equipped to do so. He's got that never say die attitude. Granted, Xhaka's going to come in and he's going to. I know it's one player, but he is going to raise that. He's not. He's calmed down.
Just like you. Well done. Well done. Okay, 2 minutes to debate about why Sunderland won't be staying up. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Welcome, Aaron.
Hello.
Go ahead, my friend. Because you guys could also possibly be there. But again, not the topic.
Yeah, a bit of skin in the game here. Obviously, I don't want to see us go down, but really I'm looking at the second part, less about how well equipped you are, but looking at how well equipped the rest of the Premier League is. We're after 2 seasons where all 3 promoted teams have gone straight back down, right? The difference between the Premier League and the Championship is probably the biggest it's been in a long time. And you look at one of the last teams that managed to stay up. And I'd also say that you guys are maybe ahead of the curve in terms of you weren't expecting to come up this season, probably next season in terms of your preparation. And Forest were the same when they came up. They invested extremely heavily. I know they signed like 20 players, which was probably overkill, but doing that level of recruitment is what enabled them to stay up. You haven't done that level of recruitment. Xhaka might be great, Adingra kind of Premier League proven, but you're not signing enough players that's going to bridge that huge gap between the teams that are coming up and the rest of the Prem. Brentford are struggling. They've lost their manager, they've lost some important players. They also haven't spent the Mbeumo money yet. If they spend that well, they could still stay clear above you. And I don't think you're going to be out of the relegation zone at Christmas, let alone far enough ahead of it to be able to deal with AFCON and the rest of the season that comes.
Okay, so just using Brentford as an example, we've previously discussed the question marks around their most recent coach appointment in Keith Andrews. What they might have the money to spend, but Newcastle have money to spend, and they've been getting knocked back left, right, and centre. What, like, just because they've got the money doesn't mean a player's going to go, I really want to come and play Keith Andrews.
They're shopping in completely different fields. Everyone knows that Brentford usually sign players that most of us have never heard of. They come from random leagues. Newcastle are going after big players, as they should be, but they're not the same players that Brentford are going after. They're going after guys, and Mbeumo and Wissa, you hadn't heard of them before they came there. They can find these guys, gems in the middle of nowhere, and I back them to do it again, and I think they'll do it well enough to be able to stay above you.
Whilst I can see where you're coming from, the window's not done yet. I think we'll get the keeper we need if we succeed in our pursuing of the lad from Bologna, Lusumi, I think it's called, the Colombian centre. That would be a big signing, because that is what we're missing. We're missing a top level centre back who can also play the ball, because that's the only reason Luke O'Nien stays on the side. It's his ball progression, and then with Ronaldo, Lusumi, Hume,
I don't need the
Dan
full
Ballard,
11, but like
keeper, I think we've got a good enough defence.
Full time. Well done, everyone. Well done, boys. Well done. Whoa, that was debatey, wasn't it? Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Guys, thank you all so much to every single person that has come down today to be a part of this video. I cannot appreciate it enough. I'm going to try and put everybody's links down in the description. So if you want to check them out, make sure you head down there. If you enjoyed videos like this, then click on screen right now for some more. Subscribe to the channel right now so you don't miss out on future videos. I'll see you guys very, very soon.